Hello, everyone. Good morning, everyone from Arizona, and good afternoon, good evening, everyone around the world. Welcome to Life Integration Class 2. We are so happy to have you here with us at ICI 5 Houses. And today's session is called Money is a Mirror, the Karma of Resources, with our senior teachers, Timothy and Aizhan and Anastasiia. And in this class, we will explore how our experience of money and stability, material resources, is deeply connected to karma and to the second perfection of ethical living. This is a practical session designed to help us look at real life through the lens of the teaching, not just in theory, but in the choice we make every day. Thank you for being here with us and for bringing your attention and openness to this exploration. Now, let's begin.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome from Diamond Mountain. We have a full class of 6 people. They're all sleeping. Let's get Aizhan on, please. Okay, there we go. We got everybody high. So this is primarily an online class. So I would love it if all of you who are, apparently the microphone's not loud enough online. I would love it. They can't hear me very well. You guys can't hear me, can you? No. Wah wah. They cannot hear me well online. The volume's not high enough.
No, now it's okay already.
It's okay now? All right, they got it working. Cool. All right, so because you're online, I have my computer here, and we would love to see all of your faces. I know a lot of you are waving, but it really, really helps build community. There you go. So we can see everybody. All right, sweet. All right, so everyone might know me. I'm Tim Lowenhaupt. I'm the executive director of the ACI 5 Houses. And I'm very excited about today's class because I get to share. We decided to start sharing classes and bringing on new teachers to our international events. And so I'd like to introduce to you Anastasiia Manzurova and Aizhan Nursanova. I think that's how you pronounce your last name. Close enough. You can say it for everybody. So I'd love to have both of you introduce yourself. Who are you? Because I don't think most people know who you are. So Anastasiia, can you let us know who you are? And then we'll get the class started after Aizhan introduces herself.
Thank you so much, Tim. My name is Anastasiia Manzurova. I was born in Russia and moved to Spain and started to studying this wisdom with Timothy Lowenhaupt in 2021. So yeah, and after that, after using our practices and wisdom, now I'm working a couple years for now, right? In ACI as a social media manager, and my passion is about reaching out to people online through short videos. Maybe you sell them with Geshe Michael, with other teachers. Yes, and I just love this wisdom, love to practice, and it's very dear to my heart.
Thank you. Aizhan.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here. My name is Aizhan Nursanova. As Anastasiia, I also represent 2 countries. So I am from Kazakhstan, but now I live in London. I became the British citizen last year, So in a way, I represent two countries now. And yeah, you understand, I need to list all my labels, right? So one of my labels is, so professionally, I am consultant in financial industry. Another my label, I one of the senior teachers in Kazakhstan. There are three of us who are transmitting this wisdom in Kazakhstan. And so I came back to Kazakhstan actually this Tuesday, and we taught the ACI 10. Another label, I am assistant professor in Sedona College of International Management in the ACIM. Yes, so I think that would be enough. And I'm really, really happy to be here. Oh, and of course, we need to mention when we meet this wisdom for the first time, and it was in 2017 in Kiev. I remember, and it was an amazing event. I would never ever forget it. It was a turning point in my life because that was a day when on the stage I met all my teachers. Gesha Michael, our dear teacher, my teachers, Peter and Maria, and of course the team also was on that stage. It's amazing that they came out from one seat at one point of time. It was amazing.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm very excited to have both of you here today. We're in the middle of, Geshe started teaching us last night about where we are in the Lamrim, in our preparation, in the bridge for the Diamond Way courses. And we're opening up a discussion about the 6 perfections. And this series, this online series, we're going to be going through all 6 of the perfections in 5 classes. So someone in the chat, please let me know, how is it possible that we're going through 6 perfections in 5 classes if we're doing 1 perfection per class?
Wisdom is in all of them.
In the chat. Someone in the audience got it, but I want to hear it in the chat. Rachel thinks that the joyful effort goes on both ways. Nah, kind of, but no. Yeah, we got it. So wisdom is pervasive throughout all 5 of them, all 6 of them, frankly. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about wisdom in all of them. And so today's class, we're going to be discussing mainly about resources, mainly about money, but we're going to go in a different direction because that's how things go. And one of the things I wanted to start by asking, we'll start by asking Aizhan, you know, we were discussing yesterday about the difficulties that we have putting things into practice. Because I think that the whole point of these courses, these online courses, is how do we live the teachings? Because we can sit here all day and hear teachers blah blah, but then when you're sitting at home or you're sitting with your family or sitting at work, do you do it? That's the question. Do you actually do it? So Aizhan, I wanted to ask you, you know, what struggles have you had when you've, and you know, even as a teacher, when you've faced with a particular problem? And we can maybe focus on money, because I guess that's the topic.
Yeah, thank you. So yes, the topic is about money. And we yesterday when we were discussing this meeting, the discussion is going to be about, we came out with the obstacles, right, or the blind spots, I would say. All of us, we know due to the Geshe-la's teachings, we know how to create money, the 4 steps. But it's simple 4 steps, and it sounds like we just need to apply it, and all of us, we must have financial freedom, like enough money. But for some reason, it doesn't work. And of course, I was also trying to apply the 4 steps, and I've noticed something. So as I said, I work in the financial, as a consultant in the financial industry, and also my bachelor degree in economics, my master degree in finance. So I know so much about this, right? And I realized that all this knowledge, in a way, became an obstacle for me. Because when I think about creating some money in my life, my mind automatically goes to all the methods I studied, right? In a way, unfortunately, I know so many of them, right? I forget that the only way how to make sure that you have funds in your life is the 4 steps. But I start thinking about, like, I need to maybe change my work, right, to get the better work with a higher payment, or maybe I need to invest, or something else, or maybe I can start my own business, and so on. Like, and even I get the ideas and how to run the business and everything. Instead of doing 4 steps, instead of finding someone who wants the same and go and help. And when I realized that, I give you another example. For example, when I decided that I want to do retreats, 1 month retreats, I realized that I needed time for this, right? I'm full-time employed, and the working in consulting is demanding. Sometimes we work 24 hours just to meet deadlines, and then we're like, how am I going to create time to do 4-week retreats? And since I had no ideas how to create time for retreat, the only method that came to my mind was 4 steps, because I had no other options, no alternatives. So I said, okay, I need time to do retreats. I found a partner, right, to plant the seeds, and we worked. I think we worked about a year, like 8 or 9 months, around that period. We worked and we did it following all rules. We met every week, and we tried to come up with some ideas to help each other. And she succeeded first. And in a couple months, so in a way, so what happened? My company released new policy that allowed like flexible working agreement, and based on that flexible working agreement, you could agree some time, and you would explain why do you need this extra time, and so after considering, they would give it to you. And so I created new policy in my company that allowed me to apply for it and to get extra 4 weeks as a vacation. So I have as per my contract, I have around 3 weeks, and based on this new policy, I've got extra 4 weeks. And it was so amazing. And in the beginning, I was thinking like it's like mission impossible, but I did it in an industry which like famous with deadlines and the overload and the burnout and everything. I managed to get extra 4 weeks. And then I was thinking like I created this, but what's the problem with the money? And then I realized that because of my conventional knowledge in finance, I slipped to this wrong way of creating money. And that's how I noticed this a blind spot, my blind spot. So when it comes to the money, the only way to create it is the first step. It's by finding someone who needs this money and then helping this person. So in other words, the only way to get what you want is it to give it to other person, is to help and to serve other person. Then you will get it back. And there is a deep reasons for that. And we will discuss it today.
I think what you're pointing out is really cool about like this. We have blind spots, right? Like I think this, like where you're saying you are an expert in money, like you know how to solve money problems. You probably know more about money than most of us combined. How to make spreadsheets, how to analyze the data, how to use the latest market variables to say, okay, well, if we do this, we get that. If we do this, we'll get this amount of money. But once you kind of get into those kinds of habits, which we're in, we oftentimes go, oh, yeah, to get what I want, I got to give to others first. So I'm just going to make my spreadsheet because I know how to do that, right? And even I would even say, there's probably a way that we're thinking we're planting, consciously planting seeds, but we may be moving into selective blindness, maybe. Maybe we can call it that. And Anastasiia, I wanted to hear about you, like what are some of your experiences around that?
Yes, I was experiencing lately a big problem with money because as I was moving out from my previous house and I live now separately, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing it myself, alone. It's so scary. I need to. And there's a lot of things that comes in your mind when you have a big affliction, when you have a big emotions around you, right? And what's popping in your mind? It's the most important thing because you can track it. And in my mind, it was like, I need another project. I need something to make it work, right? I need to create more money. And then I realized that, you can create more projects and don't get money from them. Or you can don't have any more projects, new ones, and still receive money from the ones who care about you, or, just from people who care about you. They can just share it with you. And what are you gonna do next? Like, I was in such deep emotional state that I couldn't think directly through the wisdom, and what gets me to the point where my money starts resolving into like where I starting to get more money and more resources is when I started to concentrate more on wisdom. When you're on this panic state, what can help you the most, right? And I starting to use this meditation technique. If you did a meditation, you know that we use our session, our watchfulness, right? To see if we are not focusing on the object, right? And then if we found ourselves that we out of object, what help you to bring it back? And it's a recollection. So when I was in this state of panic and mental affliction, I was collecting, find myself in a panic state. And then I was watching myself like, good, you find that you're not thinking about emptiness. You don't think about wisdom. You're thinking about, general ways how people usually create money. And it doesn't work, right? What will work? And then I started to rejoice that I found myself in this state of mind that I don't focus on the wisdom, because since you catch yourself that you don't think about wisdom, from this point now, you actually have your object of meditation, right? And you focus on the right thing. And then you can recollect yourself to think about wisdom, how you can create wisdom, how you can create more money with wisdom, right? It's the first option, right? Is generosity. And what if you're generous, with other people, but money still doesn't find you? You still have, some problems with it? What then? And I think it's the most important one, is that we need to remember about ethics in general, right? Like, do you act through your day-to-day ethical towards other people? And when you don't, what are you going to do with it, right? And you use all the toolkit that we have. You do a 4-power, you do your meditation. And what's really helped me, and I get big result for me, now I have a flow of money and they're coming to me. And other people like, oh, we actually want your expertise here. Do you want to join the project? And it doesn't, take from me a lot of another resources, time, right, that we have. And they're just coming, and I can stop it. And if you remember, Geshe Michael will say they were gonna running for you. They will. And you cannot stop them if you do it correctly. So I use it, and it really helps me through the very difficult states of minds when in these deep emotional fears. And I find it very, very helpful to apply meditation techniques in a day-to-day life and bring your focus, right? Training your focus outside of meditation question. Yeah, that will help me a lot.
So I think you bring up a really good point, Anastasiia, about what happens when we start to panic, or we start to worry, or we have a kind of upset, or we call them mental afflictions or negative emotions. Because the idea is that when the bills get tough, when our worries get intense, how do we remember? Like, how do we remember it's time to practice, not time to panic when you are panicking, right? And I'm going to guess, and I don't know if it's true, but I'm going to guess that a lot of us have experienced this. That in our minds, we go, oh God, I need to do the 4 steps. Okay, next week I'll go help someone. Let's go look for a job, right? Or, oh God, how am I going to get this done? How am I going to make this work? And then our channels begin to tighten. Our worlds begin to sort of kind of collapse in a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit tighter. Maybe it gets really tight. And you said something about, you brought meditation into it, which I thought was really cool. Like, how do the skills of meditation help us when the poop is hitting the fan? How do we recall what we know will help us, but we just don't do it, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but it's a constant battle. And Aizhan, I wanted to know what you think about that. Like, how do you bring yourself back to observing your, let's say like your vows or your ethics, which really, when we sum it up, I really think it is about planting good seeds, right? It's about 4 steps, right? It's a component of it, and they guide us. They give us, guideposts when we're having an affliction, I guess. How do you think about it? Like, how do you navigate it when you're trying to solve something in the wrong way and trying to pull your mind back towards wisdom?
Yes, good question. So today we're talking about the money, and with connection to the second perfection is a ethical life. And I think that the ethical life is a foundation for everything. So of course I talked about that when I want to create the money, like finance funds in my life, I slip to this conventional method that I know. But on the other hand, it's not quite correct, because this is how you you create money. But to make sure that these conventional methods work, right, you need to charge them. And the fourth step is how you charge these methods. Then you can you can apply for a job, you can make your investments, you can start your business, and they will be successful. They will become this source of vehicle through which this money will come. But you need to do the four steps. The thing is, when you are under this attack of mental afflictions or negative thoughts or clashes, right? It's really hard to think in the remember wisdom, remember the four steps. And of course, there are good days, and unfortunately, there are more bad days when you are unconscious. You are not aware about wisdom, and you are acting in this autopilot mode. Yeah, that happens. But more you study this wisdom, you're planting seeds that will help you to be aware, to remember. And the more you try to live ethical life, meaning keep your 6-time book, again you are planting more seeds that you can that you will remember about this wisdom, and you will come back it. And even during the very hard time, yes, so the storm has started. You can do anything, but you would at least realize, okay, it's happening. Like, I am under that attack of mental affliction. And I think this already a big step to realize that, right? Of course, I am in the middle of the storm, but I am in the middle of the storm, and I know who created this storm. And the only person to blame is me. Like, take a responsibility. But also to take responsibility, but also to not blame yourself. I tend, and I think many of us, and maybe all of us, we tend to blame ourselves. And I am master of blaming myself. I was, and I still a little bit, but yeah, of course. I would, even if I had a good day, even I had a good day, I mean, I did my practices, I did my meditation, I kept my book, I did some yoga, or maybe even during those days, I would find something to blame myself, right? And what if you just failed the whole day? Yes, the only thing that comes to your mind is to blame yourself, right? And then during those days, like, I felt the whole day, and I'm sitting on my bed now, time like to go to bed and to sleep. And I'm like, and I'm feeling myself so guilty, and I'm blaming myself. And then I realized it's not helping, it's not working. I did it for many years, and it never helped. And there was a period, like for some period, my practice was, I was telling myself, I'm not going to blame myself. I'm not going to blame myself. So in Russian, in Russian it would sound, я не буду себя ругать. Я не буду себя ругать. I'm not going to blame myself. So for some period, it was my mantra. And I would say myself that I failed the whole day. It just proves that I am a human. I'm still a human. And human, they fail. So it just proves that I am a human. I will try again tomorrow. And of course, we are trying to serve other people, to help other people. And we are doing it for all living beings. But we also need to remember that within those all living beings, so we need to include ourselves in those living beings and be kind to yourself. So when I had enough seeds, probably compassion and the love seeds, I use some of those seeds toward myself. I try to be gentle with myself. I try to love myself in a good way, to take care of myself and to not blame myself because that didn't help. That created even more negative seeds. And slowly, and that helped me to plant it in a way that was, I'm not blaming myself. I will find at least one thing to be happy about. And that one thing could be before going to sleep, I would maybe open my book and then maybe just read one of the vows and then think about it. And I would say, okay, that's how I will make this day count. I'm not going to blame myself, and that's how I would go to sleep. So this practice helped me a lot, like to slowly to came out of this darkness of constant mental affliction and start helping myself and start helping others.
I think you opened up an important point for a lot of us, and I'm including myself in that. I don't know how all of you are with yourself and the relationship you have with you, but I think there's a trap that I think we can fall into sometimes, where you might have 10 Praktimoksha commitments. You might have 20 something refuge commitments. You might have 64 bodhisattva commitments, 21, that's what I thought. You might have hundreds of Diamond Way commitments. You might have 253 or 364 ordained vows, right? There's lots of things, there's lots of lists. And I think it's really easy for us to say, oh my God, I'm not a good person. I just can't do this. I keep messing up. By the way, when you get to your Diamond Way vows, it's a whole different ball game of messing up. And it's beautiful. But as I giggle, I also think, as I'm trying to lighten the mood, but I also think there's this thing that happens where we go, oh my God, I'm just not ever going to be able to do this. Yes, we got a big yes in the room. Like, how am I going to be a better person when I check my mind and I'm like, how many times did I get irritated with someone, or how many little criticisms did I make of people that I saw today? I've only been up for an hour and 20 minutes. You don't want to be in my head. So how am I ever going to do this? And Anastasiia, I wonder, like, what do you think? Like, how do you navigate that? Aizhan gave us some advices, but how do you think about that? How does that affect you?
Yes, I had this person, this voice in my mind as well, which is so critical to everything that I'm doing. You know, you didn't this correctly, you did this, you did this. Look at your list of everything that you did. It's so awful. You're a bad person. And, you know, if we just imagine that you know, or me myself was talking to anybody else in the world with this tone, no, it wouldn't happen. Then why I'm talking to myself this way, right? How I create this voice? What's going on? And yeah, it's very harsh sometimes. But what I also was interested about is that if we see in others something which is good and we praise what they're doing, we create an imprint and we will have it more, right, in our life. But what if we critique somebody who did something good and we, you know, not happy about them, right? It creates something that will create in our mind this tape of a voice that dissatisfied with their actions, whatever you do, right? You can do good things all day, and they're like, you can do better. But what I try to imply is that I am rejoicing about every tiny step, good step that I'm doing, or I'm trying to do, or even if I have a thought, oh, that will be good to do this thing. And now I'm doing like, yes, let's do it. That's such a great idea. And if I messed up with something, you know, it's like if you see a kid, as Geshe Michael was sharing yesterday, you know, they're trying to not just walk around, you know, they're trying to stand up, and it takes a lot of development and, you know, inner growth to, you know, from seated position, trying to crawl to stand, just to trying to stand. And of course you will fall for the first times because it needs a little bit of development. Or maybe, I don't know, you have some muscles from previous lives and it's not a big problem for you. But in development process, I think it's very important to rejoice in every tiny step and encouraging yourself. I am encouraging myself a lot. Like, I did a meditation. Good job. Or, for example, my mind is out of the place, but I'm still seated in meditation and I try to breathe. I try to ground myself. I try to think about good things. Good job. Yeah, it's maybe not a perfect production day, not very productive way. But every tiny step will create a seed and seed grows. So I really love this, and it's really helping me a lot to change in my behavior and how I talk with myself. And also, such a great idea to have a partner of about 4 steps to, I don't know, to snooze, to put this voice in a spam folder of your inbox. If you imagine your mind is an inbox with all the thoughts that are going on. Good. Now this is a thought that I will put in a spam. I will not blame myself. I know maybe that I create something bad, then I will work on it and how I can be better, but not just blaming thoughts and, you know, telling yourself how stupid you are. It's just not the way how we create a beautiful world and a beautiful speech. So yeah, not productive spam.
This is great. I like this way of thinking about our thoughts as just inboxes, like an email, just an email in our inbox. Like, it doesn't have to be true. You know, how many emails do I ignore already, right? How many Telegram messages do I ignore? My staff hates me. you asked a very interesting question, Anastasia, that I'd like to explore a little bit. You asked, what is it that we're doing maybe subconsciously? I'm going to rephrase it in the way that I want to rephrase it, of course. This is what I heard. What are we doing subconsciously that is creating this, in a way, this negative self-talk? What are we doing such that we hear this voice that I'm not good enough? I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to be a good person. Or I'm, and I wonder, what is it that fuels that? Aizhan, did you have any thoughts on this? I mean, because this has just popped in my mind right now. We didn't prepare this part of class, so good luck. What do you think? Like, what pokes that, instead of just putting it into the spam box, which I love, or just delete, right? Yes. Why do we entertain them? And what do we do to keep them moving?
I wish it would be that easy just to put them into the box and then burn that box down. That would be amazing. The answer is coming from Master Shantideva. As I said, we just finished teaching ACI 10, and it starts actually from three poisons, and all of us, we know there is one main big poison it's the pig. That pig, do you remember? It's ignorance or misunderstanding, and this poison is just in our blood, right? I would say it's if you have some poison in your blood, and it just goes all over your body, and being human is being poisoned by the ignorance, and it's there all the time, like on the background, and just to realize that we have it, so all our actions, all our thoughts, all our words, they are imbued with this poison. Unfortunately, that's what's to be human. That's why I think it is so difficult to practice it, because we have it, because it is everywhere for us as this misunderstanding. Even when we talk about the wisdom, as Geshe-la says, even when we are teaching the pen, we are misunderstanding the pen at that moment. And that's why it is so hard to overcome these mental afflictions and all these negatives, and it is so hard to remember about the wisdom. But the good news, we know our main enemy, and we know how powerful it is, and so it means it gives us tools, and we know so many tools to fight against it. And as Anastasiia mentioned, since we have this ignorance which drags us into the mental afflictions, into cycle over and over again, we need to understand what's happening. So, like as I said, if I am in the middle of the storm, I understand that it is because of this ignorance, and the only way to stop it is wisdom. Of course, remember where it's coming from, and the tool that we can use against it is the joy. There was a point when I realized the power of coffee meditation and joy. Maybe for that reason, the joyful effort, like in the middle, and it affects both sides. Maybe that's the secret. I don't know. So that's why we need to try really, really hard to do coffee meditation, to find something to be happy about. And I do like the examples that Anastasia gave us, like to find some small thing to be happy about. It could like came up with this idea, even if it's fake, and even if you don't feel it, like fake it until you make it, because that's the only way to overcome this ignorance. Of course, it's so the coffee. It's not the. There is a deep reason why Geshe Michael, our Geshe, always talk about the coffee meditation, because we are in an anti-coffee meditation state all the time, and that is ignorance, right? We do anti-coffee meditation automatically. Just imagine if we could do the coffee meditation as good as the anti-coffee meditation, we would be in the paradise like right now already. So I think so. The main problem is ignorance, and the only way to fight it is keep the ethical way of life and be happy about it.
So building on that, Anastasia, how would you, when it relates to practicing your 6 times a day book, and I think you said it earlier, but I'd like to hear more about it. You were talking about meditation and bringing your mind back. There seems to be a relationship between the skill sets in meditation and keeping practicing. Let's call it practicing. I don't want to call it keeping your vows. Let's call it practicing. Because I think keeping also seems to imply that you're doing something wrong. If you mess up. But how could the insights you have from meditation apply to this idea of coming back to practicing your vows, practicing those commitments?
Yes, I was thinking through all the days, how I am practicing, like, am I practicing during all the days? And I realized that I have this constant checking reality. Like, I see this, why I see this, what's going on? I like this, I don't like this, why? Like, stepping back all the time. And it's not happening like through all the 24 hours. It's sparkles that I'm trying when I'm trying to recollect myself and like what's going on. Ooh, I don't like this. It's a trigger for me to step back, like what's going on. And it's so interesting because when you step back on this moment, it's where magic happens, because you're like, oh, I see this. Why I see this? I see this because I was acted as this in the past, and why I was acted like this? Oh, because I was sure that there was an object outside me by themselves, without any, karma seeds and emptiness, wisdom, thoughts behind. And it really throws me to the idea that I can now change the whole pattern that I have to not think about wisdom, to not have these thoughts about how I can apply my actually vows and all the commitments, because they are like building bricks for me myself to cover all the blind spots I have, because I might not think about, oh, is that person what they feel, what they see, and how I can help them to feel themselves more comfortable. They see myself as something that could, hurt them. They see me as a threat. How I can help them to not see it this way, or I cannot. How I can, for example, to clean this because I am the one who sees it that way. Maybe they're not see it that way. And there's a big process of, just thoughts in my mind. They're like debating and just playing in the tennis with each other. And it's beautiful to think about this way because when we step back and trying to think about emptiness of what's going on, at least 6 times a day, right? And how I can purify this. That this helped me a lot, staying with this state of mind.
Last night, you just reminded me, Anastasiia, of last night, and something that Geshe Michael said to us in the beginning of the first class, the beginning of the Devil Debates the Angel class, and he was talking about the secret message of why the first Panchen Lama wrote about Diamond Way in a sutric text. Right? And how do we think about that? Like, how do we think about that today? Like, was he writing for us today, knowing that we were going to be sitting in class last night together and studying? And does anyone remember what the greatest offering is you can make to your community? To your brothers and sisters, your diamond brothers and sisters? So let's look in the chat. Right. It's what I heard in the room is your understanding of emptiness. Each little tiny moment where you think about it, just even like, it just pops into your mind when you're, as Aizhan was saying, as Anastasiia was saying, these moments of just, you're overwhelmed by some negative thought, your blind spot, and then you have this moment of wisdom. That moment of wisdom is a moment of celebration, right? That moment of wisdom can be an offering. And I had another idea, so I'm going to share that, and then we're going to open this up to some questions. Who are you? This is a question for everyone to think about. Who are you when you self-criticize? Who is the person who's judging themselves? We're not even talking about judging others, okay? Some of you are experts at that. Right? But we're just talking about ourselves, and it's very, very important to think about this for ourselves. Who is the person? What type of person are you when you're judging yourself? What seeds are ripening? Like, it's not just that the seed is ripening that, oh, here's you independently, and then here's my negative thought. They're not two separate things. That is you. You are that. It's not even a part of you. You is that. You is your negative emotion in that moment. You is that self-judgment. You is that negative emotion. Right? So when we're trying to battle those negative emotions, are we battling the negative emotions, or we're battling our sense of self? And where is that sense of self coming from? Ignorance. It's coming from the center of the wheel of life. So what are we trying to do? What are we trying to change? Are we trying to change? Like, this is a deep, deep question, and I'm going to leave you with it, then we're going to ask some questions. Open it up for questions. Are you changing the you, or are you changing your view of you? And what are you changing yourself into? Who are you becoming? What's our goal? Right? What's that goal? What's that goal to transform into? We're trying to transform ourselves into a being who can take care of all beings. We're trying to enlighten ourselves, in the simplest words. And that transformation is based on who you perceive yourself to be, or what seeds open up as you. And if those seeds open up as a different you, you won't have certain kinds of afflictions. And in fact, you will have cessations. You will not have those things anymore. They will just vanish. Change you, change your world. Change the sense of you. So every single time you fight against that, you're planting a very different seed. Every time you think about wisdom and you understand not where the world is coming from, which is coming from your seeds, but you are coming from your seeds too. And that's one of the essences of the practices we're going to move into. Right? And so our ethics are a key component of that. Like how we treat other people and the way we treat them and the way we understand why they're there. The way that we understand why someone yells at us when we did nothing wrong. Like, it's painful as hell. It's so painful when someone yells at us for no reason at all. And then if you're the one who's yelling and you can't control yourself, that's painful too. But each time we come back, and this is what you said, Anastasiia, which I think was so brilliant, is that every time we come back to thinking, this is coming from seeds. It's a moment of celebration, right? And that's what you said, Aizhan, too. It's like these little micro celebrations, right? Forget about all the stupid shit you did today. Forget about it. Don't even think about it. Put it in your spam box, right? You've been doing it for zillions of years anyway. Who the F cares? Like, it's not important because you've been doing it for gazillions of years anyway. So just forget about it. It's easy just to say forget about it. But each tiny little moment is a tweak in your reality. And to celebrate it. That's what this little book is for. It's a celebration book. It's not I'm a terrible person to criticize myself book. And it pains me so much to see people criticizing themselves. It hurts. It really hurts. Like, we're all doing our best. We've been doing it for billions of years anyway. So like, okay, why is today any more important than yesterday? Like, what's important is that one thought you had. You got yelled at, and then you were like, oh, that's coming from a past seed. Okay. It still feels like shit. It doesn't feel good to be yelled at. But, are you going to yell at someone tomorrow because you know how terrible that felt? And when you're faced with the realities of this realm, getting upset is useless at the end of the day. So we have a couple minutes here, 30 seconds. What I would like to ask you all is we don't have time for questions now, but please gather your questions. Do we have a way for people to, we're going to have Q&A in Geshe Michael's class. Please prepare them and submit them in the chat during the class. Like we're going to prioritize the online experience as well. So please send your questions in during that so you have an opportunity to participate as well here. So I want to thank you, Anastasiia. Thank you, Aizhan, for teaching today. You've taught me a lot. I've learned a lot from you. And I just want to say one more thing, like your vows, your commitments they're not a death sentence and they're not a reason to blame yourself more. It's the other way around. It's when someone dies, it is like, it's one more reason to be like, I need to figure out how to get out of this. It's just one more reason, right? And it is a way that we can transform ourselves in the world with these micro celebrations. Maybe we should just make a t-shirt called Micro Celebrate. Micro parties. Juan Hasso and his micro party. We're going to go to that. So thank you all for joining. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you to the ACI staff for getting up super early, for staying up super late. Thank you to the tech team. Thank you all the interpreters. I know you have a hard job. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 languages happening right now. You're bringing the Dharma to so many people. You're bringing it to so many people in the world, and for many generations. So please celebrate in every little good deed that you do. Like just celebrate. And then when you have a bad day, just go get a hug. There's someone who will give you a hug, I promise. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Aizhan. Thank you, Anastasiia, and all of you online. Again, thank you for joining us here at Five Houses. Are there any announcements, or can I ask them? There's an MC. All right. That MC is going to come on. So after the MC, please say goodbye to each other and thank each other for being here and being part of this community.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, dear team, for opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for your messages in the chat.
Thank you, everyone, for joining live integration class 2. And thank you so much to teacher Timothy, Aizhan, and Anastasiia for guiding this through so thoughtful and practical sessions. So today the class reminds us that our relationship with money and resources it's not random, right? So it reflects the cause we planted and give us the powerful opportunity to create the new ones with awareness and ethics. So we really hope that this teaching gives you something so meaningful to reflect on and apply it on your daily life. So thank you again for all being here with us at Five Houses. And please take a short break. We look forward to seeing you in the next session. Thank you.
Yeah. That's really good. She's really good at an announcer. Thank you.
Thank you.